Don't call it a comeback. 10 ends at 60 yards today. We are scoring. I'm going to try to beat my PR today, which is 224. Last time I shot that was just over a year ago, last May. I feel like I've improved a lot over the last year, shooting indoor and just in general. But we're going to see what I'm at now today and see if I am actually better based on the score today. Stick around and let's see what I end up at. Do I totally drop it and just crap the bed? Or do I shoot to my potential today? Let's see. It is sunny out. I am getting burnt in the sun here. A little bit windy. Wind feels good though. Did one practice round. Let's just go ahead and do end one right here. That looked solid. I think I need to move this slightly. So this is, I'm getting kind of gun shy with this because I switched hats with it and it was actually ending up in front of the string, which is not good. If that got hit, that could definitely flip over and hit my eye. But then on that one, it was too far over, so my eye was trying to take over and making it blurry. So I was closing my left eye. Long hold. Not happy with that one. Peep is getting rotated. Eye blinder is not working. One of those days. That's all right. Get over it. Honestly, not a great end. It doesn't look like. A lot of things going against me right now. Just can't figure out this eye blinder. Peep is bugging me. We'll figure it out though. Reset and get to end two. Part of me really wanted to just take that as another practice end, but I said I was going to start scoring, so let's just screw it, treat it like a real tournament, a real shoot, and just start scoring. I need to figure out this eye blocker, and really it might just be the point where I'm just going to start closing my left eye and just shooting. Just focus on the shot, visualize hitting the center, just to work on the shot process. All right, looks like that one was in the red. If it's in the red and end, I am happy today. Definitely want to get some 10s to make up some ground on that first score though. And that's a 0. That broke eye. And this peep is just twisted. I'm just complaining a whole lot today. Also this knock pinch, I realized like when we set these arrows up on this, and once it's at that angle, like there's hardly any play. That's something I'll have to look at. I need to climb out of this hole. 717. As you saw, is it still even statistically possible to beat the 224? Statistically probably is, but probability wise, I don't know. So I guess this is a good practice in pulling yourself back together. Maybe I should start waiting for the wind a little bit. I did have a little too much caffeine today earlier. My heart was definitely pumping pretty good. Not so much since I started shooting, but that was kind of a cardinal sin. I don't know, it was normal amount of coffee I had this morning, but for some reason it really got me going. Let's send this in there. Let's get an 11 here. Felt like a much better end. I think my tape is a tad hot. I'm going to take about half a yard off. Not that I'm shooting the best, but that last end where all three of those broke was pretty decent, and all of them hit slightly high, a little higher than I thought. So taking half a yard off, and we'll see how that does. Now they're all going to be landing right in there, because that's all it was. Side tape was just off. Just kidding. So I've got new Easton 5.0 arrows now. 5.0. I did just go with the match grade, ponied up the extra money, got a dozen. I do like the factory fletch on these, which is really nice. Normally I fletch my own. Nice to not have to worry about doing that until I start breaking them off. I also left the knock on, the Easton knock that comes with them, instead of getting the biter knocks that I always shoot. Right now I'm rocking these pretty light just for target and 3D. I think I'm in the 370 range, 360. I'm gonna do a breakdown of my arrow setup and how I'm gonna adjust these for elk hunting this year, elk and deer, because they are pretty light for that. But I'll dive into that more another time. We greased up my rest, and now it doesn't click back every time when I click it, and it also lets down whenever I let down, which is kind of annoying. But I don't know if maybe that's how it's supposed to work. Well, judging by that, I should not have corrected my sight tape. Obviously, that could have been me. All those shots, it was hard to tell where they broke. It just seems like I was kind of floating all over the place, so hard to judge. But that's a good indicator if they are landing like they did. I'm pretty happy with how I'm letting it float and breaking. I just put it back up to 60 and we'll just see how it goes. Not holding like the steadiest today, but I think a lot of it is trying to just focus on my form. I changed up a lot with my form over the last month and a half. This D loop is really driving me nuts right now. It's literally every single shot it is rotated back, because what I need to do is get a little piece of paracord or whatever in this string so I can move it up and down. But I forgot to do that last time I was in the shop. I need to get a bow press. That's what I need to get, so I can mess with all these things myself. Okay, that's better than I thought it was. Really need to get some in the yellow though. And I should shoot a little closer instead of 60 yards. 60 yards on days where it's windy or just feeling off, then it makes you feel that much worse because your pin is like going from edge to edge of the whole target instead of shooting at like 30 yards or 40 yards or 20. It's not going to give you as much mental gymnastics or anticipation. Wind came up, but it was kind of coming from straight back, so I don't know how much it was going to affect it. 5 ends down. We are halfway. The score is not looking pretty. I think in hindsight, I would practice a little bit more till I'm feeling comfortable, got everything dialed in, instead of just doing a one practice end and then just start scoring. I could have probably just waited a couple, but I feel like if I say I'm going to start scoring and then I don't count them because they were bad ends, just, I don't know, doesn't seem like it's a great comparison to shooting well or to doing a competition or a 3D shoot. But let's turn this around. I mean, just get them all in the gold and get up there and score, right? There's always a chance. Could give myself a couple mulligans or one mulligan end. That felt like a solid shot right there. I'm not sure where it ended up, but I'm happy with how it broke and the shot process. Let's just do that 15 more times, 14 more times. Oh, it felt like it broke to the right, still on the paper, but hopefully it came back. I'm not sure. Don't call it a comeback. All right, feeling good about that. The 6 was real close to being a 7. A couple of those were high, but I feel good about the grouping, feel good about how they were breaking, and the whole shot sequence. But we did bounce into a 10, the 10 territory. Just barely caught it. Let's just keep that going. I'm going to focus on my shot process, not the result. And we're going to keep this train rolling. 4 more ends. If I can do that, for 4 more ends, I can close that gap a little bit. There we go. I'm happy about that. Felt solid. Right in there. And man, that peep was eclipsed perfectly. Crazy how big of a difference it can make. Man, those chickens are loud today. Breaking stuff. Feeling more steady. Not quite all over the place, which is nice. I think I'm letting my shoulders and my back kind of settle down a little bit more. Right towards the end of that shot, I was thinking about letting down. Right when that thought was entering my mind, it broke. I think it was a decent break, but obviously you guys know better than I do at this point. I think that was end 6, so we got 3 more. I hope those are all in the yellow. I am not mad about that. 10, 9, 7. Just wish I could have had that 7 in the gold, but I will definitely take it. One thing I've thought about doing is doing safari style. So getting the dots. I know I did a video a while back. Basically, I had a certain size dot for a certain yardage and practicing on it. I think it was a really good tool. I tend to get a little bit of anticipation focusing on those dots because I could kind of see it coming in and out. Yes, it's not a big difference compared to this. 3D doesn't bug me at all because you can't tell exactly where you're shooting. So for me, like, it's just so easy to let it float and pull through the shot on 3D. Whereas with paper targets, sometimes I get in my head because I'm watching that pin float in and out of where I want to hit. So I was thinking that print a bunch of different dots for the different safari sizes compared to the yardage, and then starting to do like a, maybe just keep it at 60 yards and do a full session of scoring myself, or vary the yardages throughout the shoot from like 30 to 40 to 5 yards to 60 to 90 to 101, which would be fun. I also thought about doing more scoring just in my garage blank bailing at 7 to 9 yards, and then just doing a really small dot and then either calling it in or out if I touch the dot or if I don't touch the dot, and then actually just scoring myself that way. But yeah, just start scoring myself like that in the garage, just so I can consistently score against myself, because that is a lot what I do now to get arrows in, because I don't have a lot of time. I can't always make it to the range, but maybe I'll actually start keeping track and scoring. Feeling better. Had to shake the cobwebs off in the beginning of this round. Felt like my brain was just not firing on all 4 cylinders, all 8 cylinders. Let's just replay the last round, last end. Felt like it broke on the right side of the yellow. That last arrow did not feel good. Felt like my arm dropped when it was going off. Yeah, so those breaks were not necessarily the best. Usually I'm pretty good at telling where it breaks, but it felt like those 2 arrows were the opposite of where it felt like it broke. So one thing I'm going to start working on now is left-handed shooting. I've had a left-handed bow for a few months now, but I've made a lot of changes to my hunting bow and technique changes, so that's where I've been kind of putting my time. But now that I kind of have this back to dialed in with new arrows for hunting season, I am going to start shifting my focus to shooting left-handed and trying to get the mechanics down, because it's going to take a long time to get to where I am now on a left-handed bow. And the only reason why I'm really trying is because I got given a bow to use by a friend, but I did have to spend some money to get the right mods on there, and then I am going to spend a little bit of money eventually to put a nice sight on it. That might be a while before I do that. I got a 5-pin sight now. I think I'm going to flip upside down and just make do, but I still need to put a peep in it. Man, it is so awkward pulling that thing back left-handed. Man, consistent peep alignment, like with the string, is just so nice when you got it dialed in and it's not shifting on you. The last one felt a little low. Trip 7s. Decent grouping. Interesting how they all stayed right in that 7 ring. N10 right here. Let's finish this solid. Stay consistent. I'm going to focus on the process. That one felt lower than it landed. I'm assuming that's the low one. Looks like they're all in the red, and I'm not gonna be mad about that. Not on today's shooting. I'm gonna do a mulligan round just to see if I would have gave myself one extra end to warm up. But really, my worst end was my second one, not the first. But I won't count this score. But I'm gonna do a mulligan round just to kind of see what my score could be if I didn't crap the bed on that 1-1. Some long holds. That's one thing I need to work on is I've been trying to kind of let my wrist collapse a little bit more, let the release slide towards my bow down my hand. And that's what Joel Turner, Shot IQ, that's one thing he's talked about. So that's one thing that happens to me a little bit too much is I let my shots get stale and they go on for too long. And I've been good at breaking that and letting down, but I don't want to have to always be letting down a lot. Man, I was like thinking too much about my balance for some reason, and I was like, my whole body was going like this. I don't know where that ended up, but it did not feel good. Not at all. Let's reset. Let's get a good shot here. Nice controlled shot. That one was kind of drifting all over the place. The wind picked up a little bit, but I brought it back to center. It felt like a solid break. I think that second arrow was freaking terrible, though. I think that was like a 1 or a 0. Yeah, it looks like that was a 1. So mulligan around didn't affect anything. Even with a little bit of a rusty beginning to the start, I don't think the scores were quite as bad as I was making it seem, but I think I just had higher expectations for myself. Okay, so I ended up at 207 here. That mulligan round that I did not make a difference. I had one errant shot, so that kind of just wouldn't have mattered. I broke the 200 mark, which honestly I'm pretty happy about, especially with how I was feeling today. I think breaking the 200 mark now, honestly, on a day where I didn't feel the best starting out, and it's just kind of an off day all around, is definitely some good progress compared to last year when I was scoring. An off day would have been like, I don't know, 170, 180, I think. Maybe in the 190s was like a decent day. It's a big difference when I'm on camera compared to just out there shooting. I might have good days where I'm feeling on it, but you just don't think about it as much compared to when I'm on camera and talking and recording. The pressure is on, so it's more like a hunting situation or a 3D shoot because the scores matter more, putting a little bit more pressure on myself. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it, and we'll check you on the next.